Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Shiv here, Shiv Jayaraman. I'm an investor in the Grand Royale. I think I invested in February or March of last year, and I've been closely following Grand Royale, my investment, and I've been to Grand Royale at least 3 times. I have discussed a lot with Mark about the financials and how Mark has helped turn the property in the direction where we should be going. And I think he's going to be talking about that. We are recording this webinar. It's an asset update on the Grand Royale, in which we are all investors. We'll have the recording available for other investors who are not able to make it. Collectively, we want to finish at the bottom of the hour. And if there are any questions, we can continue a little beyond that. Just a few things that I request from all the people who are attending. If you have a question, please use the Q&A section, the Q&A button that's there on the bottom or top of your screen, and ask the question. And I will present the question to Mark after his initial update is done. Mark, as you know, is responsible for asset management. Mark, are you the director of asset management? Is that what it is?
Sure.
Yeah. So Mark knows everything about Grand Royale that needs to be known from an asset update perspective. Let me hand it off to Mark Raceman. Take it over, Mark.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us and welcome. As you invested in this, it's independent living, assisted living, and skilled nursing. We have had continued momentum with this investment, and it was a rocky start. The bulk of 2021, and then January, we were definitely having some challenges. We were working through typical startup issues with getting the right people in the right seats, and the folks who were there initially had a lot of passion, but we were able to make the right moves to get the right people there. Right now, in fact, with the new director of nursing and a couple other pieces, wow, we got the Great Place to Work award. We didn't just get the award, we hit it out of the park. This was a 95% satisfactory score, is incredible. It's above the Fortune 100 companies. And so this is great for us for several reasons. One, we get to save costs, right? It means we're not paying as much on labor because people are happy and they're not turning over as much. We are using it for recruiting, both for getting better employees in-house. And then if I'm a resident, I want to go somewhere where the employees are enjoying their job. So it helps for marketing as well. So we did have one of our challenges, we focused a lot on skilled nursing initially, and then assisted living, the two higher revenue generating lines. And so we found a really great activities director earlier this year, but she didn't last long. She ended up going back to her initial property when her friend left and moved out of town. And so we just hired a new person that started yesterday. And I'm going to come back to this in independent living, but that was a good, it's good for us to have this position. Overall occupancy recently, we are in a slight dip. We did have our 2 salespeople on vacation, and then our business development person for skilled on bereavement for a total of almost 3 weeks, really throughout July. So that was not great for the short-term rehab occupancy, but we do have a new independent living salesperson. We do have leads coming in for that. And then we have a lot of fun events coming up. So just threw a couple up here. So those are always good. So skilled nursing specifically. So first, overall occupancy is 46%. And then for each of these next slides, I'll talk about the individual acuity occupancy. So skilled, we were over 50% a couple months ago. And like I mentioned, it's taken a dip. Now, part of this is we did add 17 beds to this. And so if previously we had 28 beds, so you add 17 to, we're at 45 beds. We did that because there's more profit potential when you have the skilled nursing versus assisted living. So we took those 17 beds from the neighboring hallways, which were assisted living. So the 50% range that we were above recently was with those new beds. So there's nothing to worry about here. We're going to get back up quickly. We are ahead of our comps with having occupancy in this, and then especially the higher paying Medicare. And then the leading indicator is that the local hospitals are getting pretty full again. Now, in January, we had our first positive NOI month before falling just a little bit. And that's because we had a consultant helping us, the MDS coordination, and that's basically the person who helps us get the most of our Medicare and insurance reimbursements. So we had budgeted $517 per person per day. And with that old person, we were above 600 per person per day, PPD. Now we lost them, but we were training a new person in-house. It's taken a while. We got a new consultant. This new consultant is doing good. So June, that rate started creeping up again to 547. And then July is not final, but we're looking at 583. So we're on the right track. We definitely want to maximize the revenue for each person that comes in the door, and we're back on track with that. So we do have one managed care contract already, and the second one here, United Healthcare, is coming, and we're, I guess, in the final stage of that. It could be any day, or it could be in a few weeks before that's live, but that's just one more revenue source. They don't quite pay as much as Medicare per PPD, but we definitely want that and should have it soon. And then Medicaid is something, we're not going to be known as a Medicaid facility, but it's a supplemental product. So people may come in with Medicare, but they might need more time than Medicare reimburses for. So if we accept Medicaid, they get to stay a little bit longer, and we go from just being short-term rehab to having a full rehab. We have control over who comes in. Most of the time, we're not going to accept someone with Medicaid right off the bat. We're just waiting for a state inspection on that. So again, it could be tomorrow or it could be a few weeks. So we'll see. And then this one pleases me a lot. We had about a month and a half of using staffing agency, and it started to become significant, but we eradicated that. It's gone. We haven't had to use it since. All right. So assisted living, these pictures here, this is when we celebrated our 1-year licensed anniversary. So that was a few weeks ago. I was present for this. It's also when we announced our Great Place to Work award. All right, so AL, yeah, we did reduce, again, the number of rooms. We went from 43 minus 17 is 26 units, but we are almost full. I believe it's after these 2 move in, we'll have 2 more and we're done. So good news there. Average rent is good for assisted living. And yes, we've gotten a lot of our leads from short-term rehab. So if you think about the cost to acquire a resident, if you're outside marketing, when you get it in-house, that's great. It's genius. Very pleased that not all, but a lot of our folks came from in-house. And then, this yesterday, activities person, life enrichment person, same person, and they did start yesterday. They have experience with older adults and activities. I'm happy to start working with them. And then last week, this is great news. We had 14 tours in 1 week. That is huge. I think part of it has to do with winning this award. And then this is actually our new salesperson, Laura. And so she's been doing great. Of those 14, we have 4 deposits now. So 2 in IL, 2 in AL. And then we have two more hot leads. And then she's still working the rest. It's not like they haven't signed yet. They're not moving in. So great momentum in assisted living and independent living. So this limousine here is fun. It's got the 3 rows of seats and money well spent. The residents love it. Independent living especially. So here the occupancy is only 24% plus 2 deposits, but the people that live there are happy. And now that we're building momentum, we have our new life enrichment person. We're in good shape. In a couple months, we're going to survey our residents, and hopefully that qualifies us for a US News Best Senior Living. So stay tuned for that. I think with the team that we have in place, we'll get there. Average rent is only a hair over $2,000. Compared to our comps, we're low. And our market rates, I think, for the 1-bedroom and 2-bedrooms are fairly priced. So that is something that we're looking at, and I'll be working with the team as we continue to lease up. All right. One campaign we did recently was we sent a survey mailer, a physical mailer, to a select demographic of people, and we got 70 warm leads back. It is great because it was a survey. People filled out this card that included a lot of their likes and dislikes and what they're looking for. So to get 70 responses was fantastic. Some of the leads that we got that I mentioned here, I believe a few of those were from this. and we're going to continue to work those leads. Yeah, I think the next thing on the plate here is to tighten up our dining. When we first invested with this, we were using Thomas Cuisine, which was a dining services management company. We were paying them $10,000 a month, and plus the cost of all of their software and recruiting and all these ancillary costs, a lot of which were double costs for us. We were able to get out of that relationship, actually save a few bucks on our balance. We were able to negotiate out. And as a result, we're doing much better in our dining program. However, without that top chef still there, that position, the food is fine. There's room for improvement. So that's going to be a big focus here in the next quarter. We'll get a consultant much cheaper in there. All right, so what you guys have all been waiting for is distributions. Hey, there's no reason to think distributions will be delayed or deferred. We have cash in the bank, we have positive NOI, and a ton of momentum. So in addition, we expect this to execute the business plan. We should have some very good financial statements to present by next summer, next fall. And if we start the sales process around this time next year, by all means, we think within 3 years or less, we'll be able to execute the business plan. So with that, do you guys have any questions?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mark. For some reason, in my previous moderations that I've done, I would be able to see chat from the attendees. I don't see that option. It just shows hosts and panelists. So for me to just control this a little more, would you mind making me the host to see if I can do that? We can just switch me to the host. And for all the attendees, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A feature to ask me. If you're not able to do that, at least hit us up on chat. I think I find the interface slightly different. So to all the 6 attendees that we have, please let me know if you actually have any questions. So yeah, now I'm able to chat with everybody. So David, Eric, Kenneth, Matthew, Sebastian, Vishwanathan, any questions? If you have, just please use the Q&A feature. That way we can record the questions and other investors can also take benefit of that. While we are waiting for the questions, I have a couple of questions, Mark. One is, I see 2 websites for the Grand Royal, right? One is called grandroyalkc.info. The other is thegrandroyalkc.com. The one referred in our Facebook page is the grandroyalkc.com, but grandroyalkcinfo.info seems to be coming higher up on the search. Nothing to worry about. I think just tell your marketing team so that we can work on that. That's one. I like what the Grand Royal team has been doing on Facebook, but if you're saying we won a great place to work award, why is that not publicized on Facebook? I'm a little confused, right? It's such a low-hanging fruit, right?
Yeah, no. So we have sent over the marketing material to Sage, our marketing partners, and waiting for them to post it.
Okay, got it. I have one question here.
Yeah.
An investor asks, I have subscribed for the 3 years payout. So this would be the 3-year. You get your first and only distribution after 3 years. So I'm not sure how the distributions are going for last 1 year plus. Can you have a slide or info on how we did in the last 1 year?
We have paid all of our distributions on time. There's no expectation otherwise at this point.
To the investor, I am a personal investor in the Grand Royal, but I invested in the monthly distributions, right? So the way the initial pitch was made is in the first year, I would get 6% per year, but evenly distributed as 0.5% per month. I've got all my distributions and my K1 also came on time. In the second year, that goes up to 12%. So that's 1% from per month. And from the month of March, if I remember correctly, I've been getting 1% per month. And in the third year, I'm expecting it to go to 18%, which is 1.5% per month. So far, I've got all my Grand Royal distributions on time. I think what the investor is asking, Mark, is forward a number saying you will get your distributions on time is one thing. Maybe going forward, or maybe when you give the update to all the investors with the recording, you can actually make a clear statement that all the distributions till now have been paid, and you can probably give a number. I've seen other sponsors do that. This is how much we've distributed, and all the distributions have been on time. That way, It gives more confidence to the investors. I hope I asked your question correctly. If not, just please ask the question again, and I hope you got the answer. One more question. What happens if the property can't be sold next fall or can't be sold at the expected price?
That is a great question. And on that one, I'll probably defer to Eng on that. So let me get the answer for that and share it with you guys.
Okay, so my understanding as far as this property is concerned, when Tozi Capital said 3 years, that 3-year mark is actually beginning of 2024. And what I'm assuming, and you should correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, is you want to get, and you and Tozi Capital wants to get this property ready for sale by fall next year. That way, typically for a property like this, especially it's a new property, it's a slightly high scale property, upscale property. So you will need that 4 to 6 month window to get the right kind of buyer. It's not one of those class C properties where a lot of capital has to go in. So you will be charging a premium. So the plan is to start this by fall next year, the sale process, but it might end up in early 2024. And you said you will defer to Eng to say what happens if you don't sell. Now, one of the things that I think Tozi Capital has to make clear is for the 3-year payout people, I think the 3-year payout is due no matter if the sale happens or not. That's something that you should just confirm with Eng and the financial controller and answer. So did I make sense, Mark, in my question? The 3-year payout is not conditional on sale, that's separate. I have an investor who says, can we get accounting statements, asset liabilities, cash flow, etc.? Are we entitled to see these? Is the question.
Historically, we have not sent those out because the nature of the preferred equity, we've made sure that there's enough cash in the account. Let me follow up with Eng on that one as well. And just to go back to the previous question, I attend a lot of these senior living events with other investors, and there's not one conference that goes by where I don't meet someone who has skilled nursing in Kansas City, or they're looking or they're selling. And I know it's a strong market and there's demand there. I know with our performance that we should be in good. Anything can happen between now and then in the market. But if our business plan, if this was year 3 and we were where we're expecting, I would be confident today. So I don't know if that helps.
Okay. And just to follow through on the financial statement, because there was this word called entitled being used there. So I just want, as an investor, I want to clarify what my understanding is. If I was getting into a debt position, if I was getting into a preferred return position, then I would absolutely want to see the financials, because a pref is given to me by a sponsor. What if they say I'm not making money? That's why I'm not giving you the pref. So I want to see the financial. I think what I heard you say, Mark, is this is a preferred equity position and it's a fixed return. As long as the returns is coming, investors should feel happy. So that's why you want to simplify it for the investors. And you're saying that, yes, I have the financial details. Yes, we are positive NOI, but still, if an investor wants to see the financials, are they entitled to that? That's what the investor is asking. And I think you will have these chat being stored, so you'll know exactly the investor who asked. And I think you should get back to that investor after discussing with Eng. Okay. The next question is, if the 3-year payout is not conditioned on asset sale, can Mark acknowledge this? When is the 3-year payout date? Okay.
So it's in, I believe, March of 2024. And as far as the condition or not, I would refer to your investment document.
Yeah, you are right that it should be around March 2024 is what the 3rd-year payout should be, based on my 1st year, my 2nd year, my 3rd year. Now, whether the investor is asking, is the payout conditioned on asset sale or not? You said refer to the PPM and what you signed, right?
Correct.
I would prefer, Mark, if you actually have a discussion with Eng, because an investor is asking that, and just clarify, you also have access to the PPM, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, so best is to make it clear, have a discussion with Eng and just make it very clear. It is conditional, it is not conditional. That's about it. I hope that question answers it. Make note of these questions, Mark, so that you can get back.
Yeah, that was similar to your earlier question. So.
Yeah. Another investor asked, how does COVID and new possible COVID variants affect Grand Royale? Can you share your viewpoint?
It's a great question. The variants these days aren't sending as many people to the hospital, whether because of reinfections or because people are vaccinated and boosted. But people are still going out to hospitals for it. It's just been a lot better and easier than a year. Right now, there's no COVID there right now. There may be a team member who gets it from time to time. And it's been because people are still wearing their PPE, the workers are when they're around residents. We've had good infection control. And so it hasn't spread. So we've been able to keep it contained. When I was there a month ago, there was one person coming off, one person starting, totally unrelated. It's just out there in the community these days. So I would say that it's not really affecting much. I won't say anything, but not affecting much. It's not the concern that it once was.
I think that's about all I have questions so far. I'll just hold 30 seconds of space in case there are any questions. And after that, Mark, you can stop recording and process this and share it with the investors.
Right.
My only request is it's not a public video, it's an asset update. So if there's some way you can just share it with the investors, that will be awesome. I think Eng will know how to take care of that. Because we are talking specific financials about a place and our rents and projected rents as well, our plans.
Yep.
Okay, so that's about it. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating. And this video will definitely go to all investors of the Grand Royal. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of the afternoon. Thank you so much, Mark, for the update.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.